That's the refrain from the theme song to one of the most popular American sitcoms of the 90s and early 2000s. Moesha aired on UPN for 6 seasons, from 1996 to 2001. Created by Ralph Farquhar, Sarah V. Finney, and Vita Spears, it was originally ordered as a pilot for CBS, but they declined. Later, UPN picked it up and aired it as a mid-season replacement. Sarah and Vita also served as co-executive producers and writers. The series was a joint production for UPN by Reagan John Productions, Serendipity Productions, and Jump at the Sun Productions, in association with Big Ticket Television. It went on to become the biggest success for the growing network, and one of the greatest hits over the course of the network's entire run. Moesha starred R&B singer Brandy Norwood as Moesha Denise Mitchell, an African-American teenager living with her middle-class family in the Leimert Park neighborhood of Los Angeles.
A lot of good things has happened to me since, I first started. None of this stuff I never thought would happen. I never thought I was going to get my own TV show, my own album, so it's been great. I'm very, very nervous. I'm very nervous. Because I don't know how the audience is going to react to me playing Moesha, because they're so used to me singing Baby, 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 and they're not used to me acting as much. I didn't act a lot on Thea, so I'm kind of scared about how they will react with me acting like Moesha. Not that it's a big difference, but but still I'm acting other than singing. But hopefully now, if this show gets picked up, they'll be calling me Moesha.
Fun fact, Brandy began rocking her signature braids out of necessity. When she worked in a hair salon before her singing career took off, a stylist suggested she relax her tresses. She did, and ended up losing a lot of hair in the process. After that, she started wearing braids. Moesha's family consisted of her father Franklin, or Frank, played by William Allen Young. He was a widower and Saturn car salesman. He married his second wife, Deidre, or Dee, played by Cheryl Lee Ralph, a few months before the pilot. She starts off as a teacher at Moesha's high school, but later goes on to become the vice principal. Moesha's annoying younger brother Miles, played by Marcus T. Polk, completes the family of 4. There were also 3 other main characters that debuted in season 1. Kimberly Ann Parker, better known as Kim, played by Countess Vaughn, was Moesha's best friend. Andalusia Louise Wilkerson, aka Andell, played by Yvette Wilson, was Moesha's adult friend and owner of The Den, the neighborhood hangout all the teens went to. And Hakeem Campbell, Moesha's lifelong friend and neighbor, played by Lamont Bentley. He was also the object of Kim's affection for the first 2 seasons. One other character that got a good amount of screen time in the first season, but was listed as recurring, was Denise Jackson, aka Niecy, played by Shar Jackson, another close friend of Moesha's. She officially became a main cast member in season 2. Quentin Q. Brooks, played by rapper Fredro Starr, was added to the main cast in the second season as Moesha's boyfriend. They had an on and off relationship until he left in the middle of season 3 to manage a hip-hop group. Since he would still pop up every now and then, within seasons 4 through 6, the character was listed as guest and recurring. In seasons 5 and 6, 16-year-old troublemaker and aspiring rapper Dorian Long, played by Brandy's real-life brother Ray J, becomes the newest main character and moves into the Mitchell household. He was presented as Frank's nephew and Moesha and Miles' cousin. Originally from Oakland, California, Dorian found his way to LA by running away from his mother's home, Frank's sister. Fun fact, Dorian is actually the 3rd character Ray J's played on Moesha. He previously played Charles Sanderson.
Tell him, sister, you are not my brother.
As well as himself.
Brandy.
While there's been a variety of versions of the opening credits theme song depending on the season, they were all sung by Brandy. One version was used for season 1, a slightly different version was used for seasons 2 and 3, and a 3rd version was used for the final 3 seasons. Fans would probably be surprised to learn that the show almost didn't make it past the table read, thanks to Brandy's visible inexperience as an actress. While she'd had a few acting roles prior to Moesha, after that, she narrowed her focus solely on singing. But as she was hard at work on her sophomore album, her mother, and then manager, dropped by the recording studio with a stack of papers. It was a script for a TV sitcom with Brandy in the lead role. She wasn't interested. You see, one of those prior acting roles she'd had was on another sitcom called Thea. Brandy didn't have the best experience on that show and didn't want to revisit the possibility of dedicating herself to another television show full-time. The creators, however, wanted Brandy and only her for the role. In her Driven VH1 special, Ralph Farquhar admitted that even though Brandy bombed the table read, he was determined to do whatever it took to get her skills up to par. So, veteran actress Kim Fields stepped in, took Brandy under her wing, and taught her everything she knew. The show dealt with real social issues affecting teenagers, such as the death of a parent, drug use, race relations, premarital sex, and sexuality. Then something odd happened in season 3, and fans weren't having it. Moesha transferred from her predominantly black and brown public school to a predominantly white private school.
You're going to private school next year.
What?
Your father and I have been thinking about this for quite some time now, and we think that this is the right thing for you.
Now, Dee was able to pull some strings, and we got you into Bridgewood Academy.
While the storyline centered around her parents forcing her to attend another school to separate her and Q, it was later revealed that the decision was strategic on the move of UPN network executives and their quest to expand their advertising dollars. Simply put, the network pressured the show's creators to come up with ways to attract more white advertisers. The change in the academic setting took viewers some time to adjust to. The introduction of new characters she encountered at Bridgewood, her new school, seemed forced though. To keep the audience loyal to the series, much of the season centered around Moesha bouncing back and forth between her two friend groups at Crenshaw and Bridgewood, struggling to merge the two worlds. Though the ratings remained consistent, the episodes centered around her at her new school had a lackluster response. In the end, the changes didn't help expand advertising dollars either. So, not surprisingly, at the beginning of season 4, Moesha reconciles with her father and transfers back to her old school. Behind the camera, Brandy and her co-star Countess Vaughn were said to not be as close as their on-screen characters. Years later, the truth about their relationship would be revealed. Rumors of tension on set ran rampant during the first few seasons of the show. Brandy confirmed that there were issues between her and Countess in a 1998 interview with Vibe magazine. She implied that Countess was jealous of her, and that's where the feud stemmed from. I think she's very funny, very talented. I just feel like she wants to be in the position I'm in. People tell her, "You're the reason why the show's successful," and she's told me that before. And she called me a bitch to my face. She said, "I'm the reason why the show is successful, bitch," in front of a lot of people, and I looked at her like, wow. I couldn't say nothing about her because I wasn't about to. She knows. She wakes up and looks at herself in the mirror and gets disgusted. I don't. Countess, on the other hand, saw the situation differently. Also that year, she appeared on Vibe's late night talk show and told interviewer Sinbad,
Basically, Brandy and I, we are good friends. We're like sisters. And what happens is, in a family, people, get into arguments and then they get back together. It's, that's the way it happens. I mean, it happens in families.
Yeah, my family,
But I
my
love
family,
her.
my family
I
shot
love
at me.
B. I love you, girl.
So that's good.
I love you, booby.
All right.
Yeah. That's my girl.
Countess downplayed the whole thing again in 2007 when she participated in Brandy's E! True Hollywood story.
What really pissed me off was because we were 15 years old and these adults were coming in on an argument that, would have blown over, but it didn't because of the outside and the media.
Their tumultuous relationship became too much to handle on set, and the network figured out a way to keep both stars happy. Season 4, episode 18, titled It Takes Two, centered on Kim and her mother Nikki, played by comedian Monique. Nikki finally obtains her high school diploma along with Kim at Crenshaw. She also decides to join her daughter at college. The episode served as the launch of a spin-off starring the two women called The Parkers. The show would go on to become a success of its own for 5 seasons. In December 2015, nearly 20 years after Moesha's debut, Countess posted a lengthy apology to Brandy on her Instagram. It reads in part, "We've been through our ups and downs, high and lows, but at the end of the day, I had to learn and find myself. Why not be friends when we're both talented? Why call you names when you're just an amazing person? I apologize for anything negative I've ever done or said to you." It didn't take long for Brandy to respond and graciously accept the apology. Yvette Wilson ended up jumping ship too when she joined the cast of The Parkers and continued to play her Moesha character Andelle, who was now also referred to as Nikki's childhood friend. As it turned out, Countess wasn't the only person that had issues with Brandy on the set. There was a noticeable change by season 5 in the storyline of the show, and much of it had to do with drama behind the scenes. Brandy and the show's co-creator did not get along, leading to a major shift. Vita Spears was fired from the show ahead of its 5th season due to a power struggle with Brandy and Brandy's momager, Sonia Norwood. According to the LA Times, that tension had been brewing over the direction of the show. At the time, Brandy also wanted to be named as an executive producer, but Vita reportedly opposed that decision. The Norwoods preferred that the network include more dramatic and gritty urban elements in the show, while Vita is said to have favored sticking to the show's comedic and more family-oriented roots. By the show's 5th season, Moesha was beginning her freshman year of college. The show was diverting from a sitcom about a maturing Moesha dealing with an overprotective father to episodes that featured more adult themes. In one of the most controversial episodes of that season, number 14, titled Secrets and Lies, a shocking family secret was revealed.
I'm not your uncle, Dorian. I'm your father.
What? Oh my God.
Not only did Moesha, Miles, and Dee not know, neither did Dorian himself. The news of Frank's infidelity during his first marriage turned the family upside down, resulting in Dorian's rebellion and Moesha moving out of the family home. The heartbreaking turn of events did not sit well with Cheryl and prompted her to reevaluate her place on the show. She told Hello Magazine in 2022, "I believe in the power of a warm and wonderful Black family because it is something we do not get to see enough. And for them to take that family and literally just ruin the family by calling the father a liar? Why do this? Why destroy this family?" There were people within the group that said, "Oh no, we've got to destroy it because these people are just too goody-goody. We don't have Black people like that." They had drank the Kool-Aid. Outside of the change so late in the show's storyline, Cheryl revealed in her 2012 memoir that being on set with younger actors became difficult due to their immaturity and entitlement. She exposed there were many negative interactions with her teenage co-stars. Kids can be rude and disrespectful. They can say things that shouldn't be said to anyone. She also noted that instead of the young stars being scolded for their behavior, they were rewarded because the storylines primarily centered around them and producers wanted to make them happy. As the seasons progressed, there was also growing tension between her and Brandy specifically. In one excerpt in her book, Cheryl spoke about being forced to change her hairstyle from braids to a custom wig because Brandy was unhappy with another star on the show wearing braids. Brandy wasn't happy at all with my wearing braids. According to Brandy, the braids were her style. To put some distance between herself and everything that was going on, Cheryl went from series regular to a recurring role for the show's last season. Abruptly, Moesha ended in its 6th season after ratings had dropped and UPN opted not to renew it. The last episode ended on an unresolved cliffhanger, with Miles being kidnapped by a rival of Dorian, Moesha considering moving in with Hakeem or Nisi, and a positive pregnancy test being found in the trash at Moesha's dorm room, without confirmation as to whose it was. Entertainment Weekly reported a rumor that certain plots were to be resolved on the Parkers, but those storylines were ultimately never resolved, and to this day, fans still feel some way about it. Moesha's aired in syndication on various US networks since 2005. That year also marked the passing of one of its stars. Lamont Bentley passed away in a car crash on January 19th. He was 31 years old. Since 2008, Moesha's aired in international syndication in over a dozen countries. Years after the show went off the air, Fredro Starr revealed some very interesting information about his relationship with Brandy. In an interview, he said that they had been intimate during his time on the show, claiming she did that Monica Lewinsky thing on him. About a month or so later, in yet another interview, he said that he never meant to put her on blast and say she performed the X-rated act. He insisted it was a joke, and the media ran with it. In 2011, CBS Home Entertainment released the first season on DVD in North America, available exclusively through Amazon.com. Moesha sadly lost another main cast member when Yvette Wilson passed away from cervical cancer on June 14, 2012. She was 48 years old. In 2020, Brandy revealed that she was in talks for a reboot, citing the reason being the show's success on Netflix after it debuted on the streaming service that summer. Since then, though, it looks like no further steps have been taken to make it happen. Moesha is currently streaming on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, and Paramount+.